Hey there, I'm Doug Brown, and I help lawyers make more money in less time without burning out so they can actually have a life. Today I want to talk about a couple of related problems that really get in the way, especially for high achievers. And the problems are perfectionism, the need to please people, and the fear of making mistakes. And this is right out of one of my coaching conversations recently with a very high-achieving client. And she finds herself struggling because even when she puts a lot of time into her work, it's never done. It's never enough. It's never good enough. Something else she could have done maybe that might have affected the outcome. And this has been going on for a while, and it's one of the things that we talk about regularly because it's important to her. And so this last time we were talking about perfectionism, people pleasing, and we went back to this idea that our standard of care as lawyers is, reasonable care under the circumstances. It's not perfection. And that a perfectly serviceable, competent piece of legal work will get the job done, will more than serve your client, and will probably get the outcome you want. And that extra little bit to make it perfect does a couple of things. One, you're setting yourself up as an impossible standard because it can't ever be perfect. There is no such thing in life or in the law. So you keep moving the goalposts down the road. And so that's a concern. And then the need to please people is, well, what if I have to be able to look them in the eye and say I did absolutely everything possible? And that's a problem. So as I thought about how to guide her, it came to me that this thing we as lawyers talk about of the slippery slope that we use in policy as a reason not to do things, I guess it is kind of it's a thing in law, but it's incredibly destructive when you approach it with yourself in your business. Because the idea of the slippery slope applied here is I can't lower my standards. I can't do anything less than perfect, because if I do, I'll obviously go from really caring to being totally incompetent, and nobody will hire me anymore, because if I let my standards slip at all, then they'll slip all the way. I'll slide all the way down the slope and my life will be over. Now, I hope that me saying that out loud allows you to see just how silly that idea is. So my kind of message for my client was, you're not going to change who you are as a person if you decide in doing a piece of legal work or in a piece of business work that you're going to get it to a certain point and you're going to say, I've done the work that gets me the results. I don't have to go from 80% to 100%. I don't have to get an A+ on everything, because the truth is, when you try to get an A+ on everything and focus on those things, there's lots of other things you're not getting to. You're kicking the can down the road and you're going to get a D- on those, which just increases your stress. So if you're trying to deal with perfectionism, I know something about what I'm talking about. And if you're dealing with a need to please people and it's never good enough, just be aware of when your brain is allowing you and telling you stories about, well, it's a slippery slope. I can't lower my standard. Now, let me be clear. I'm not talking about doing crappy work. Far from it. I'm talking about being conscious and mindful of the level of work that you're doing and matching it to the situation. Because if you're watching this and you've watched this far, your B game is probably everybody else's, A game. So just be thinking about that, and don't let this idea of a slippery slope that's a doctrine of not to change law to keep you from experimenting with things. It's not going to change who you are. There's no such thing as perfect. It's not achievable. And if it's your only standard, you're going to drive yourself crazy. Your stress is going to go through the roof. And you're going to be putting all these hours in and wondering, what am I doing? I would love to hear from you. What are your thoughts? How do you overcome your perfectionism? What do you think of this idea of a slippery slope doesn't apply to us as people? I'd love to hear. Leave me a comment below. Send me a direct message. And just remember this, if you want to fix things, the first step is to be mindful of them and recognize what's happening. So when you're held back, maybe it's perfectionism, maybe it's people pleasing, and just ask yourself, do you have to? That's it for today. Bye for now.